Lord, may you protect your servant Leroy. Please keep him safe for his police training. Attention! And grant us the wisdom to accept his decision.
I think it's really interesting, watching your character, a Black man in a very racist police system. W.B. Du Bois often discusses the notion of double consciousness. So I'm curious as to sort of what that dissonance or what that double consciousness that your character experienced.
Well, the double consciousness for me is in the conflict, in having to package himself to basically suit the police system of the time. His mentality is that if he's going to join the institution, he's going to change it from the inside and help inspire more diverse change. And also he was worried about his community and thought that if he has representation in the police force, then there would be more people that look like him to empathize to those who are maybe wrongly accused of crimes or arrested for no reason. But in that comes a control. I call it the holy anger that you have to keep correct, because in navigating these spaces, it can be quite tricky, especially as a Black individual. And now this is a dude doing it here in the UK, where it just wasn't something that you saw. So while this guy is a community man, he loves his wife, his people, he's also having to become somebody else in order to now navigate the police force.
And I thought it was really interesting how throughout the piece, he was referred to as Judas and a traitor. Do you believe that Black people who, join the police force, these oftentimes racist systems, are traitors?
One of my friends is a police officer here in the UK, and she's a Black woman. Her reasons for joining are deep to my heart, and this is somebody who has lost a family member to the same crime she is now, fighting against. And so for me, it's important to understand that there are nuanced individual stories. These are people who come from our communities. Sometimes what social media does to us, it makes us want to sort out the complications of the world so that we don't get too traumatized. It's not that simple. There are officers in there that are Black, that do have good intentions, but this is about them now having to navigate a space where their intentions can't even be actualized because the system won't even support them.
Black lives have always mattered. We have always been important. We have always meant something. We have always succeeded, regardless.
So John, you were quite the activist. You had a speech, and it was so powerful. I'm loosely quoting here, but you said, "I want to remind you how painful it is to be reminded every day that your race means nothing." So I'm curious as to how you sort of get through this pain.
I come from a privileged perspective, but a privilege that I worked for, which makes the experience quite unique in that I haven't outlived my years as a wealthy individual, as a wealthy Black man, in comparison to my years, without, money and without this fame. I don't want to lose myself. I want to be able to stand up for what is right, rather than watching from within the glass mansion. So for me, it just feels right. It's fulfilling to me as a human being to be able to do that. And also at the same time, I feel like the influence of it affects other people and you find allies. And that to me is it's really, really important in this.
Steve McQueen dedicated this series of films to George Floyd. And as we are living in these very difficult times, I'm curious as to what your love letter would be to Black people of the diaspora.
It's a challenging time and a fight for our minds, a fight for the stability of our emotion and then our thoughts. I think we should remain critical with our thinking, to remain stable, open to education, open to learning and expression. I know it's challenging times, but we do deserve to smile, to have some form of stability in our lives, so that as we fight for what is right, we are reminded of what it would be like to actually have this. We are reminded of the peace that we really, really want to enjoy. So I think we just need to stay motivated during this time where we don't know what's happening with the pandemic. We're all at home, we're all limited, but it's about, strengthening our minds and making sure we're ready, because we ain't done yet.